answer at any time you'd like to begin.
Okay, fine.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Redevelopment Agency meeting of September 19, 2007 is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. The Redevelopment Agency meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m. and also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 4 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. As we announce at each and every meeting, we have a state-of-the-art sprinkler system, and should alarms activate during the meeting, please exit, and once outside, assemble on the Las Vegas Boulevard side of the property, and employees wearing safety vests or our city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. That's just a precautionary statement. There's no reason to believe that those alarms will activate during this meeting. So with that, we will call item number 3, which is RA 17-2007, discussion and possible action regarding a resolution finding the proposed disposition and development agreement between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency and Bank of America N.A. for a parcel located at 904 North Martin L. King Boulevard to be in compliance with and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan. This is in Ward 5, and this item is related to Council Item number 72 and RDA Item number 4, which I will now read into the record. Number 4 is discussion and possible action regarding a disposition and development agreement between the Redevelopment Agency and Bank of America N.A. for a parcel located at 904 North Martin L. King Boulevard, totaling approximately 1.43 acres, Ward 5, and of course this is related to Council Item number 72 and RDA Item number 3. Mr. Adams.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Turn on the mic. Good morning. Scott Adams, Operations Officer, the Redevelopment Agency. These three items are all companion items, as we normally do with the RDA and the City Council.
Is the Bernie item a companion as well?
No, I'm sorry. What I meant was the two on the RDI and the one on the City Council agenda.
Very good. Thank you.
These two that we're taking up, items 3 and 4, would not be effective until you take action at the council meeting later and make that resolution of funding at the City Council meeting. They all respect a disposition and development agreement with Bank of America regarding development of a new branch bank at the northeast corner of Washington and MLK. I'll go over to the overhead and just kind of show you what's going on here, if we can get the overhead. What I have on the overhead is the site that we're looking at disposing under the development agreement. But if you notice in the opposite corner, on the southwest corner of that intersection, B of A has a current branch banking facility. It's a modular branch. It's always been somewhat of a temporary branch here. When B of A found out that they were going to be taken for a portion of their site with the widening of MLK, they had made it known that they were going to close their branch banking facility and leave the neighborhood completely. We didn't really want to see that happen. In the redevelopment business, I think it's very important as a positive signal that major banks keep their presence in areas that you're really trying to redevelop and revitalize. So we called Bank of America officials, the head of their retail branch banking division, asked them if they would reconsider that decision. They indicated that branch was losing money and they had some concerns. And as we discussed it and brought them into our office and had conversations, we worked out a situation where through the process of taking and us owning the northeast corner, we would provide them the northeast corner at no cost, and in basically somewhat of an incentive to keep them there, but also in somewhat compensation for the taking that was occurring on the opposite intersection. The taking on this intersection really would have rendered it virtually impossible for them to continue their banking operation there. The taking would have taken most of their parking area and would have made it very, very difficult for them to do so. So these three items are regarding how we would dispose of that site. They would build on the new site and that new site is 1.4 acres. They would build a $2 million branch, 4,500 square foot branch, a permanent facility. This time it wouldn't be a modular facility. They would create 60 construction jobs, 5 permanent jobs, and retain 18 permanent jobs for a total of 23 permanent jobs at that site. We have looked at this from a public purpose standpoint, believe that we've met the public purpose test in terms of the economic impact of the branch itself, both from the taxability of the facility, the jobs that are being created there, and the potential impact of the loss of the bank to the neighborhood, as well as keeping the bank in that new location. So for all these reasons, item number 3 is the finding that the redevelopment agency makes that indicates that these actions are consistent with the redevelopment plan, and that there are no other reasonable means of funding available. In this case, we believe the action is one that's an incentive, and that without this commitment by the redevelopment agency to be able to maintain their facility there, they would close their branch and move it somewhere else, and that would be a very negative impact on the community. So item number 3 is that resolution. Item number 4 is the actual approval of the disposition and development agreement, and it provides a schedule of performance. It provides dates for commencement of construction within 12 months of acquisition. They complete construction within 12 months of commencement of construction. Because this is a redevelopment agency transaction, they are required to pay prevailing wage in their development and construction, and they are required to comply with terms of an employment plan. So those provisions are incorporated in the disposition and development agreement. So with all those considerations in mind, staff does recommend approval of item number 3, the resolution, and item number 4, the approval of the disposition and development agreement.
And Mr. Adams, if in fact something happens where they do not build it, does the land revert back to the city?
Yes. I would indicate, too, and I failed to mention in my comments, that there is an attorney here representing Bank of America, should you have any questions about that.
Okay, very good. Any questions of Mr. Adams?
Mr. Adams, I just wanted to ask, could you tell me exactly what is it that we're giving to them?
We're giving them 1.43 acre parcel that's valued at $935,000 in present value. We bought the site probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago for $850,000 for then an appraised value, or an actual purchase value of about $1,360 a square foot. It's a little bit more than that today. So that's the consideration that's being provided in this transaction.
And in return, they're staying there?
They're staying there. They're going to add jobs. They'll build a permanent facility that will be a permanent taxable facility. And banking and having banking in a community is important for any community, especially in particular in a redevelopment.
Oh, no, I know how much the bank is needed, and I agree with that. But what I was just inquiring about was they're saying to us they're going to stay there?
That's correct.
And if they don't keep their word, then we get the land and the building?
We just keep the land. We have a conveyance process where they've actually designed the facility. I think there's even a sign out on the site. I mean, they're moving forward, and they're committed to build a branch at that location.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand what it is that the business community, the large business community, which would include the Bank of America, gives us in return for what we're giving. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Parry, did you want to be heard?
Yes, thank you.
Please identify yourself for the record.
Stanley Parry, Ballard, Spar, Anderson, Ingersoll, on behalf of Bank of Nevada. Bank of America, excuse me.
Oh, boy.
Really?
That's the end of that retainer.
It shows my patriotism.
That retainer just went right down the toilet.
Yeah, that's right.
Good job, Stan.
Yeah, thank you. But by the way, I just wanted to note that it's nice to be here without a lot of protesters. It's not my normal circumstance here. Yeah, okay, got a protester behind me? Okay, good. Well, I feel at home then. Just to answer Councilperson Tarkanian's question, what we're doing is kind of a happy public and private experience here. We are now going to build a bank branch that is 4 times larger than what we have existing. Also, it's permanent. It costs us $2.2 million to build this new branch. And so as a result, it's not the kind of investment that the bank would normally make because the area has not been profitable for us. But with the city adding the value of the land and we adding the value of the building of the new branch, and it's going to be a nice branch, we hope that it'll be an enhancement to the community as well as to us and will stimulate growth. And now that you're building Martin Luther King Drive to a better standard, maybe for all of us it'll be a happy experience. And so we're willing to take the risk with you and move forward and build a better branch and a better have a nice positive activity out there. And so that's what we think we're bringing here, is we're bringing the investment and the capital to build a branch, and something better than what we have. So it's not just like we're keeping what we have, but we're actually enhancing the neighborhood. And so we think it's a positive experience for both of us.
Very good. Councilman Brown?
Thank you, Your Honor. To Mr. Perry or to Mr. Adams, 2 follow-up questions. The first deals with the existing property. Does the Bank of America own the southwest corner?
Yes.
And how large is that parcel that they own?
Just over half an acre, about 0.6.
And Scott, do we need to put on the record our eminent domain or condemnation for the expanded Bonanza, I'm sorry, MLK? We're going to pay the bank for that right-of-way purchase.
That's correct.
And I think that needs to be, I support what we're doing, but I think that needs to be part of the record, that it's not just giving the land and they're investing 2.2. The city actually is going to come in and purchase and pay the bank for that land on the opposite corner.
That's correct.
And do we have any kind of right-of-way projected cost?
I believe it's about $380,000. Is that correct?
And again, this is, I'm not sure if it's precedent-setting, but as far as this new public purpose, I think that needs to be included for the entire record.
Okay.
Then secondly, to follow up on Councilwoman's question, in the event the bank goes forward, builds this structure for $2.2 million, and then, as indicated today, it's not doing well. If the bank, from purely a business decision, chooses to close this branch, at that point in time, do we have any remedy as far as the land, or at that point in time, be it 2 years or 5 years, is it just entirely up to B of A?
I don't believe we have any remedy built into the agreement, no.
Maybe I can answer that, Scott.
Okay.
After 5 years, we have a vested interest in the land. And if we can't dispose of it for 5 years. So that's the way the agreement's drafted, I believe.
Well, it's going to be a good area because we have so much development taking place over there that I think the bank is making a very wise decision in expanding and building a new facility because it's going to fit in with everything that we're doing over at the Enterprise Park. So I think it's a good
We're
reason.
excited about it, Mayor. Yeah.
Yes, Manfred.
I used to represent this portion of Las Vegas about 12 years ago, and that bank then was struggling, and they've just been struggling, but they've continued to stay there and support the city. So I really support this. I appreciate the question that was asked, but I feel like that they are going to go in there and build a $2.8 million building. They are going to be committed to the area, and they're going to try to stay there as long as they can.
I just should note for you that we're already in progress. We've got our plans prepared. We've already got a site plan approval. We're moving forward. We're hoping to have this branch built by the first quarter of 2008. So
Very good.
And we have 2 years actually to finish it, but we're way ahead of that.
Councilman Ross.
Scott, do we have anything in the agreement that holds them to that? I mean, I will accept what he's saying about moving forward and getting this done. You got to sign up, you're moving forward. Is there anything in the agreement that holds them to that this bank will be built in X amount of months or anything like that?
Yeah, there are timelines in the agreement for when they start construction and when they complete construction.
Okay, and that's probably important for the security of the city, and you've got those built in.
That's correct.
And I think you always do as we go down these RDA developments, we've got that built in to protect the city.
And we have a right to re-enter the site.
And I want to make mention to B of A as well. I think they recognize the economic importance of how that area is going to be as we travel down this road of redevelopment in that area with the widening of Martin Luther King, the prospect of other businesses coming online, the proactiveness of this council to make sure that that part of the city gets rebuilt in a fashion to support and sustain the neighborhood. So I wanted to say thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Tom McGowan, Las Vegas resident. You already answered the first part. What's the intended use of the subject property by the purchaser, Bank of America? Specifically, how does the development agreement guarantee opportunities for full-time employment and small business development by local residents of the West Side community of Ward 5?
Okay, thank you.
If the answer is positive, my recommendation is approve the item. If it's negative, I would say think further on this.
Did you want to respond to that, Mr. Roberts?
No, I just wanted to reiterate, I think we have our two relatively standard provisions in the agreement, a right to reenter, and a restriction on assignment or sale for 5 years. So that would mean they would have to keep the property for 5 years before they could sell it to any other bank or anybody else. So that, I think those are, given where we're at in this transaction, fairly reasonable safeguards for the redevelopment agency.
Very good, thank you. All right, Councilman Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate all the comments from my colleagues because these were the same concerns that I had, but most notably, what I really want to do is thank Bank of America for remaining in the area because of the constituents in this particular area frequent the bank, and this is one of two major institutions. However, we haven't had a full service branch in this area of town ever. And so for you all to remain in this area, I want to thank you for that. And with the 60 construction jobs that'll be coming online to build the bank, as well as the 18 permanent jobs and possibly even more coming online full-time with benefits, is something that this particular area of town is in need of. I understand that there will be prevailing wage on the job as well as an employment plan built in.
That's correct.
Which is a major concern for a lot of residents in the area. And so for that, my hat goes off to the Office of Business Development to make sure that this was a part of that process as well as far as the employment plan. Do we currently have the site plan here, Scott?
I don't know if we brought it with us. We didn't. I'm sorry.
It'll be coming back to us in the afternoon.
I can bring it back this afternoon.
I think it's already been approved. It's already been through the entitlement process.
Right. I just wanted to point out a couple things on the site plan.
Yeah, when I ran down here this morning, I meant to go into our room and grab the sketches to show what the building looked like, and I forgot.
Well, why don't you, Mr. Perry, why don't you bring it with you this afternoon so that Councilman can make his presentation. Thank you.
That's fine. So with that, this bank is truly needed, Mr. Perry, and it will. I'm 100% confident that your bank will be successful, specifically with the widening of MLK going from 4 lanes to 6 lanes, and all of the improvements that we're doing up and down this corridor. And with that, I support the item, and that will be my motion for approval of the item.
All right, let's vote on that, please. That's on item number 3. Opposed, please. Motion carries. And item number 4, please.
Yes, I would like to move for approval, subject to all staff's conditions.
Please vote. Opposed? Oop. Want to try again? All right, let's vote again, please. Opposed? right, well then, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
We're sure going to miss Beverly today.
Tell you something, it just shows. Unbelievable. Okay, item number 5 is discussion and possible action regarding a grant of easement from the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency to Bernie Smith LLC for a 30-foot wide public access easement generally located at Martin L. King Boulevard and Washington Avenue in Ward 5. Mr. Adams?
Okay, this is somewhat related to the last item in that for a while now, we've had a license agreement with Mr. Bernie for
Use of an adjacent site, well, actually the site that we just approved a development agreement with B of A on. Mr. Bernie has a commercial shopping center adjacent to our site with some parking in the front, but he had interest in maintaining the ability to get to the rear area of his site, and so we're simply providing an easement, and it's actually been incorporated both in the site plan and in documents that would really simply provide access from the rear to the front parking lots of his site. It's really just to make an accommodation to allow him to continue to operate there, and with the notion that at some point he might even want to expand his facility, and it's really facilitate his development of the shopping center.
Very good. Are there any questions to Mr. Adams? All right, Councilman Barlow.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This site is very important as far as the access, having access to get to the rear of Mr. Bernie's site. On the west portion of this property, the parking area is very shallow, and with the construction and the widening of Martin Luther King, this is going to impact the business for Mr. Bernie and all of his tenants. And so having access to the rear of his property, and he's recently, within the last 12 months, purchased the east portion of the property behind his site to make it one contiguous piece of parcel. And he's going to add additional parking to the rear so that his customers will have an opportunity to come in off of Martin Luther King down the access road into the back portion of the parking lot, which will continue the operation of his business without impacting his customers. So I want to thank Business Development again for your assistance in providing the relief that Mr. Bernie and his tenants needed in order to continue their business. And so for that, I will recommend approval of this item subject to all staff's conditions.
No. Before we vote on this, there's disclosure, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes. Mr. Bernie and Max Smith, it's Booker Bernie and Max Smith, are friends of mine. I haven't just talked to them about this project at all. It won't affect me, but the project we're talking about is a barbershop. They own one of the largest barbershops in Las Vegas. They do very, very good. But I just want to disclose the fact that it is a barbershop. I haven't discussed this with Mr. Smith or Booker, and I feel very comfortable voting on it.
Very good. Let's vote, please. Opposed? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
You want us to call Beverly?
Item number 6 is citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the Redevelopment Agency. No subject may be acted upon by the Redevelopment Agency unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come up to the mic and give us your name. And we'll put the 3-minute timer on, okay? 3-minute timer, please. Yes, sir.
Tom McGowan, Las Vegas resident. How many minutes do I have remaining?
3.
I love your timekeeping situation. This for the record, Madam Clerk. Tom McGowan, Las Vegas resident. Community development begins in early childhood as responsible parents and grandparents teach their children and grandchildren to become moral, ethical, and responsible, law-abiding adults. It continues therefrom over the lifetime of each generation with a sound family unit as the basis for the sustainability and perpetuation of an enhanced community, city, state, nation, and ultimately a better world. Pretty important work. KVBC television news anchorwoman Beth Fitcher will leave her job after Friday night's broadcast. She'll put her promising professional career on hold while she raises her 16-month-old daughter to be a moral, ethical, and responsible, law-abiding person. And Beth Fisher is a selfless heroine because she and her daughter are helping to build a better community, city, state, nation, and world comprised of better people. Community development is about people, striving to become better people. In a respectful reminder, the preamble to the Constitution of the United States begins with the words, "We the people," not we the government, and certainly not we the bureaucracy, at least not yet. I would hazard the opinion that the 14th Amendment to the Constitution is unambiguous. The minimum volume of persons required to certify eligibility for access to the inalienable rights guaranteed secured by the 14th Amendment is one person. And I recall names such as Rosa Parks, the Little Rock Nine, who required federal military intervention in order to attend Little Rock Central High School, a public high school. And so that applies to each and all people regarding their inalienable rights, including the rights to public mass transit. And again, I say that the volumetric situation simply is irrelevant as far as admissible evidence in anything having to do with public mass transit. It's one person, each and all persons, collectively, in that sense. But no one person can be denied. I would recommend to all members of the City Council and all governing bodies and all departmental infrastructure, city employees or government employees, the golden rule: do unto others as you would do unto yourselves and your immediate families. And that way we'll build a better world. In the meantime, finish up whatever it is you're doing here. I was going to ask you about what's the principal headquarters address of Bernie Smith. Apparently it's in Las Vegas. I'll just assume that. Nobody in the city council said it'd be different, so I'll assume it is. Rather world-class barbershop operation. And a bank to go with, and that's pretty good. Now the good news will increase as we find out how many people in the West Side community of Ward 5 will find gainful employment and job development opportunities as a result of these enhanced efforts. And as soon as you want to tell the public about that, you're invited to do so, of course. And don't all speak at once, but as soon as it does become relevant, I would assume that you're going to rather commendably include it in the public record of one of these meetings. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, would you like to be heard?
Mayor, council members, I'm Earl White with the Downtown Business Development Business Operations Council, and this is Don Walford, one of our members. We just want to thank the council. We want to thank Dr. Shelby, Mr. Adams, and Mr. Sanchez. We met with them last month to address some concerns we had with some issues downtown. The next week, those things were addressed, and the communication has been terrific, and we just wanted to come up here and give our thanks to the city staff and being so receptive to any concerns that are brought to their attention as it relates to downtown. We just thought it was we had a fantastic meeting. We came out of it very happy, and it was some positive action in the right direction for downtown, so we wanted to come and thank them for that.
Thank you very much. The truth of the matter is they're responsive not only to the downtown but to the entire community in the city of Las Vegas, and do a phenomenal job from the manager all the way down through the staff, and we're grateful that they're working on behalf of all of our citizens, and we're also grateful that your committee, 5 of whom are here today, participate as vigorously as you do to make the downtown area a better place. Without your efforts, we wouldn't be having the progress that we're enjoying at this point in time, and the future prosperity that is coming, nipping at our heels at this very point. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to say that I think the elected officials and the employees of the city are probably one of the most responsive
of all the governments that reside here in Southern Nevada. And we'd just like to thank you again.
Thank you very much. Chief.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Dave Washington, your retiring fire chief. I asked Dr. Selby, as well as my boss, Betsy Fretwell, and you, if I would be allowed the opportunity to just speak before this council, and I'm hoping you will let me do that.
Certainly, Chief. I just asked whether or not this is the appropriate time or whether you would rather speak before the council when we have more people in the chambers. It's your choice.
No, I'm ready, Mayor.
Okay, well, I know you're often at a loss for words in crowds, so why don't you go for it, Chief?
First of all, I want to thank God and thank each of you for the opportunity to serve as the fire chief. I certainly want to thank Doug and the rest of the city management team, you and the great council, as well as the members of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue. I'm a veteran of the United States Army, 1971 to 73. When I got out of service, I was out for about 1 year before I came to work for the city of Las Vegas in 1974. So in essence, over half of my life I've spent working with this great organization. I am grateful and blessed to have had the opportunity. Throughout my tenure, through the good times and the bad times, I've maintained my faith because I know God will take care of folks. My family has been with me through the calm as well as the storms. They've always prayed for my well-being, which I truly appreciate. Mayor, the passion that you and this council brings to this city is untold. What you and your colleagues have demonstrated, I've tried to do that in my job as fire chief. And I've tried to maintain a high level of energy as I've done my job. You speak excitedly, all of you guys, about the developments that occur downtown. I can tell you, my staff, we're just as excited when we do inspections of these new facilities, when we respond to them at an emergency need of some folks. We feel very good about the growth of our city. Whether it's high rises, I got a problem with the shopping mall, Mayor, because it's too close to my home, but we'll talk about that later. My wife can't stay from over there. On a personal note, you and Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Reese, I hadn't planned to get all emotional, but the day that my mother passed, it was just hours later that you guys called me to express your condolences. And then for our services, the whole city practically was there, all the city management, and that really warmed my heart, and I'm always going to be grateful to you guys for that. Mayor, as you know, there's times when you come, when I said to you, don't worry about coming, I'm talking about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. If any firefighters were injured or hurt, you would come. Betsy, Doug, I tell you guys, stay at home, I got this. But you guys would show up anyway, which certainly the staff and I really hadn't planned to get all emotional like this. But we really appreciate that. And a lot of people, you know, they say this and that about elected officials, but you guys, you bring it. And that's important for people to know that you really, really care. You can easily sit in those seats up there and, you know, push the buttons, but you care about people. And that is most important, I think, as you serve as a public servant. On a lighter note, I remember the first time you fired me, Mayor. And I was shaking in my boots, and Doug and Betsy said, oh, he loves you now. You're really a part of the team. I'm like, that's strange. Fire you, and that's love? Okay, all right. Anyway, I really appreciate working with you. I appreciate Doug and Betsy for allowing my style of leadership. I'm very passionate. I'm one of these guys who will not sit back. I will take chances. I won't take chances with people's lives, of course, but I can't sit idle and not go after making us a better fire department for the citizens who reside here. I'm almost finished, Mayor. So that passion that to this business we call public service, I know, Doug, it's one of your cornerstones of your leadership. I've always served, and I'm telling you, without exception, with integrity, as I served as your fire chief. So I want everybody to know that, without question. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Doug, Steve, Betsy, Orlando. They brought some programs here, Mayor, and Councilman Brown, I know you're pretty excited about Performance Plus. It's going to make, and I'm glad that I was a part of the initiation of that as we were voluntold to participate in that program. Voluntold, that means somebody tell you you're going to, Betsy voluntold us to participate. And we appreciate it because it gave us an opportunity to set something forth in this organization that's going to put us far head and heels above other organizations without question, without exception. And I'm glad that I had an opportunity to be involved with that. Same thing applies to another initiative, the diversity initiative. It is going to do some things for this agency that's going to have us as a municipality to again rise above others in terms of our ability to respect and appreciate one another as employees and again as public servants. Finally, it is with great pride that I will tell people that I retired after 33 years of service from a great organization with a great mayor, a great city council, and great people throughout the organization, to include our custodian, Terry Taylor. I mean, we got good people working for this organization. And because of you guys' leadership, it's only going to get better. And I wish each of you, as I brought my heart, my spirit, my passion to this business on a day-to-day basis, sometimes in some folks' opinions probably wasn't good enough. But I never laid down, Mayor Doug. I brought it every day. Even those days when you said, Doug, if you're sick, stay at home. Stop coming around here making other people sick. That's a good policy. With that, Mayor, I thank you all. I will continue to be residing in this great city. Y'all ain't seen the last of me because I'm going to be working with children. That is a passion that I have. I wish you all grace, peace, and love, and everything you need to make this city a better city. I wish you all well, and thank you for a very soft landing as I begin my career with Las Vegas Fire and Rescue and the great city of Las Vegas. God bless America. God bless our city, Mayor.
I don't care if you're Clarence Darrow or Abraham Lincoln, nobody is going to be as eloquent as our friend the Chief. I think I speak for all of us about our love and affection for you, about our pride in everything that you've accomplished during your tenure as the Chief and with the City of Las Vegas. You're a special person who is beyond reproach. Your integrity is unquestioned. Your performance was excellent. We will miss you greatly in your capacity as the Chief. But the one thing that I know, and one of the beautiful things that has happened as a result of being fortunate enough to be the mayor of the City of Las Vegas, is getting to know you and becoming your friend. Thank you for everything. All right, folks. Anybody else wish to speak at this time, Mr. Adams?
Mr. Mayor, it was asked that you wanted to see the site plan for the Bank of America building. We do have on the overhead some of the elevation sketches to show what the branch facility will look like. As you can see, this is a full-service branch with a full drive-through. Really, they're completely developed full-service facility. I also have, for the overhead, could drill in a little bit, just the site plan. I think it was asked if we had a site plan. So we can pull that up a little bit. And this shows pretty clearly that it now will be a fully circulating site. Their old site, they had just a modular facility, very limited parking. This site now is got great setbacks, well landscaped, and there'll be going to be plenty of parking for those residents and customers who utilize that facility. So I just wanted you to see both the elevations and the site.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mayor,
Certainly.
would you place the rendering back?
Sure.
I just wanted the community to have an opportunity to see what level of services will be coming into the area, and that was my reason for wanting to, requesting the rendering, so that the community will have an opportunity to see what's coming on the corner, on the northeast corner of Martin Luther King and Washington. This is going to be a beautiful branch, and this is just the start of more beautiful buildings coming down the commercial corridor of Martin Luther King. So there's more to come, and I just want to once again thank you, the Office of Business Development, as well as Bank of America, for being a pace setter, if you will, for more commercial to start to roll out down the Martin Luther King corridor. So for that, thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to be heard at this time? All right, seeing none, the Redevelopment Agency meeting is adjourned. Our morning session of the City Council will begin in about 15 minutes at 9 a.m.